In her first trip to the border as vice president, Kamala Harris says the Biden administration has made progress in tackling the immigration spike.
Yeah, Harris arrived in El Paso this morning, and after getting criticism from both parties for deferring her trip until now, the vice president called the situation at the border tough and said more work is needed. Serena Marshall has more on her visit.
A trip to the border 90 days in the making. A timeline Vice President Kamala Harris defended Friday.
Well, it's not my first trip. I've been to the border many times.
But it is her first since taking office, and she says is part of her focus on discovering what is driving migration from Central America.
My trip to Guatemala and Mexico was about addressing the root causes. The stories that I heard and the interactions that we had today reinforce the nature of those root causes.
She spent the day on the border with DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, meeting with Border Patrol officials.
You guys have made incredible advances and success in just the last couple of months.
And met privately with 5 of the nearly 15,500 migrant children still in U.S. custody, down from more than 22,000 just a month ago.
This issue cannot be reduced to a political issue. We're talking about children, we're talking about families, we're talking about suffering, and our approach has to be thoughtful and effective.
The vice president's trip to the border is not without controversy, as Republicans have criticized her for not going sooner.
After delaying more than 3 months, Vice President Harris is finally headed to the border today. We're excited about that.
House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy says it's President Biden's decision to repeal Trump administration policies that have opened the border.
The president put the vice president in charge. She should come back and tell him to reverse those.
Next week, several House Republicans will join former President Donald Trump on a tour of the border. Serena Marshall, CBS News, Capitol Hill.